yesterday, right after our morning shows, Fred lost that true closed center of circulation, so we can't technically call it a tropical depression or a tropical storm. That being said, winds are at 40 miles per hour sustained this morning. It's looking a lot more healthy. I won't be surprised if we don't see this strengthening back and getting that official classification of a tropical storm again today into this afternoon and evening especially. The latest track has it wobbling a touch back to the east, closer to where we were this time yesterday morning for that main track. It's getting a little bit more narrow too. We're going to break down what that means for us here locally and when we could see any enhanced rainfall or windy conditions coming up here in a bit, James. We do have that center of circulation for Fred right there. So this is a really lopsided system. As you can see, most of those impacts are well off to the north and to the east of Fred. It's displaced, so it's really top heavy. Breaking that down like we were talking about yesterday, we've got those four main quadrants that we look at. You can tell just by this radar view that most of those impacts are in those right quadrants, especially this upper right one right here. That's where we're seeing the majority of the rain and the storm activity. That's where we look for those main impacts. The latest track of Fred has shifted a bit east again, and so that is putting us on that eastern side of the center of circulation from Fred. Center of circulation, that timing that we have for us closer, it's saying Tuesday 1 p.m. on this graphic, but really that's just for that center. So that's what we were talking about. This system's really displaced. So when that center rolls through, it's just going to be rainy and windy. We're not going to see that in the way of impacts. Those impacts are going to come a little bit ahead of the center of circulation with Fred. So checking that out, we are going to see those main impacts to the north and east like I was talking about. So before they even see the center of circulation, there's going to be plenty of those rain bands rolling through, and we're going to deal with those impacts sort of ahead of that main center and that official moving through of the system. Fred, likely a tropical storm, tropical depression as it moves near our area. Good morning, guys. So the latest is we think that likely a tornado did move through this area. Waiting on that confirmation from the National Weather Service, probably coming in later today, maybe even tomorrow when they get out and are able to survey this damage. But I'm going to step out of the way so you can see behind me, we've got a lot of trees down across Americus. There are several areas, especially confined to the northeastern portion of Americus, that have impassable roads because trees have fallen. We've even seen a few carports that have been lofted and thrown across portions of the area. Georgia Power is on scene. They are assessing the power lines and getting those turned off so that we can start to see those emergency crews continuing to move in to start clearing roads just so they can continue their door-to-door checks on residents out here. Behind me, you can see where power lines are down because of trees that have fallen. Multiple roadways are closed just to the north and to the east of downtown Americus. Right now we're at the intersection of Sharon Drive and Pine Drive where we have multiple power lines down, and we have seen a lot of metal debris actually out here this morning. I mean, right now we still are waiting on that confirmation that this was a tornado, but it looks very likely that that is what was the case. One of those quick, brief tropical tornadoes that was spawned by Tropical Storm Fred that we've been tracking all night long and continuing to track that rain just like Lauren was doing for you guys. So as we continue to get more information, we'll continue to bring you the latest updates here. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you guys in studio, live in Americus, WTVM meteorologist Anna Sims.
We want to go live now to Anna Sims with WTVM, who is actually on the ground in Americus this morning. Anna, thanks for being with us. What kind of damage are you seeing throughout the town?
Hey Stephanie, thank you for having me. We've seen a lot of trees down across portions of Americus. There are a lot of roads that are still impassable because of these trees being down on the roadways. A lot of power lines came down too, so until we could get Georgia Power out here, emergency crews couldn't start to clear those roadways to assess more in the way of damage. Now, we did speak with one couple earlier who had a tree fall into their home. They said that they got out of that room where the tree fell into only moments before that tree came crashing into that room, feet away from where they were currently sitting before they moved out of that room. So lots of trees down, power lines, and a lot of metal debris dangling from power lines here in Americus, Georgia.
Have you heard of any injuries?
As of now, we still have not had any reported injuries. We were speaking to the emergency manager just a few minutes ago, so far no injuries reported, and we're hoping that that stays that way.
And have you heard the chainsaws yet this morning? A lot of times, the next day, the second that sun comes up, the cleanup process has begun, or are they still in the assessment time frame?
A little bit of both. We've seen a few tractors driving by that are on the way to help with some of that debris removal. I'm sure a few streets down where there were more trees down, they are starting to get those chainsaws out as well. As soon as Georgia Power clears those lines and makes sure there's no live lines out, they can continue to do some of that damage assessment and begin to start removing those trees from the roads.
All right, Anna Sims, WTMV, thank you so much for that report.